Do you know about a lawyer who always fought for truth and justice, but one day, she herself became the victim of a mysterious murder case? Was it an old enmity or a pre-planned conspiracy? Today we are going to talk about an incident that shook the entire city of Meerut. Before we begin the video, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to channel. Today's case is about Anjali Garg. This incident begins in the Transport Nagar police station area of Meerut district, Uttar Pradesh. Behind a petrol pump in this area lies New Mula colony, where a 35-year-old woman named Anjali Garg used to live. She was an advocate and practiced law in the Meerut district court. She lived in this house alone. On the morning of June 7, 2023, sometime between 6 and 6:30 a.m., Anjali left her house to get milk, part of her daily routine. She always went to a nearby dairy at this same time. On that day, she went out as usual. But around 6:30 a.m., just as she returned with the milk and was about to unlock her gate, suddenly the neighbors heard a loud noise. They thought maybe someone burst a firecracker, or perhaps a short circuit occurred on the electric pole. But what really happened? When the neighbors came out of their homes to check, they saw Anjali lying on the ground right at her gate. Blood was flowing from her head. The milk packet was also spilled beside her. The moment they saw her, they understood something terrible had happened. They immediately called the police. Someone had shot Anjali, ending her life right at her doorstep. By the time neighbors came out, the attacker had fled. Within minutes, officers from the TP Nagar police station arrived at the scene. Anjali was rushed to the hospital, but unfortunately, she had died on the spot. Doctors later declared her dead, officially. The incident occurred right at her gate. She hadn't even unlocked it yet. Though the area is generally crowded, at that time, no one was around. There were no eyewitnesses. No one saw the attacker arrive or flee. And since the victim was a female lawyer, questions about the safety of women and legal professionals had already been raised. Now this shocking murder added fuel to the fire. Police quickly formed several investigation teams. Senior officers came to inspect the crime scene. Right from the beginning, the police were convinced that this wasn't a case of robbery, but rather a case of personal enmity. Initial inquiries with neighbors revealed that Anjali was a divorced woman. She had been in dispute with her in-laws for quite some time. Police informed her maternal family, who also lived in Meerut in the Nauchandi area. When they received the news, they rushed to the mortuary where Anjali's body had been sent for post-mortem. Her family members were devastated, crying endlessly, as if the world had collapsed around them. During police interrogation, her family members directly blamed her in-laws for the murder. Her mother-in-law Sarla Devi, father-in-law Pawan Gupta, and her ex-husband Nitin Gupta all were accused. They claimed that Anjali had been harassed by them for 7 to 8 years. She had divorced Nitin 3 years ago, and since then had been living alone in New Mula colony. Although she had no contact with her in-laws and stayed away from them, she did maintain contact with her maternal family. Her family filed an FIR against the in-laws, naming the mother-in-law, father-in-law, and ex-husband directly. Meanwhile, media arrived at the crime scene and the story spread rapidly in the news. When fellow lawyers came to know about it, they boycotted court work that day. They even visited the ASP office, demanding the immediate arrest of the killers or they would protest. The police's technical team began reviewing all the CCTV footage from the surrounding area. One team visited Anjali's in-laws' house, also in TP Nagar. On the same day, June 7th, the police picked up Pawan Gupta, father-in-law, from his shop and brought him in for questioning. His wife and son were staying at home. They denied any involvement in Anjali's murder, claiming they were at their shop the whole time. They said someone knocked on their shop early in the morning and told them what had happened. That's when they learned the news. Before that, they had no clue. Then within hours, police came and took him to the police station. According to the father-in-law, Anjali had many enemies already. She had filed cases against 35 to 40 people and had connections with some criminals. She had even allegedly gotten her father-in-law beaten up by some goons. Those goons used to knock loudly on their shop's shutters at night. At the time of divorce, Anjali had taken 5 shops from her husband as alimony, and she was collecting rent from them. The house she was living in currently, that also belonged to her father-in-law. They had even sold the property, but Anjali had allegedly forcibly occupied it. She had the documents too. According to the father-in-law, "Yes, I can absolutely help you with this." Anjali had already filed several FIRs. The court cases for those were ongoing. Her father-in-law said, "These people have nothing to do with Anjali. The police are suspecting them unnecessarily." But the police didn't stop there. Apart from the family disputes, they also began checking how many people Anjali had filed legal cases against, and who she was currently fighting legal battles with. They also pulled Anjali Garg's background. Her maternal family was approached for further information. Anjali wasn't always this kind of girl, the kind to pick fights with everyone. She didn't even intend to become a lawyer. According to her brother, they used to live in Korja. Anjali completed her early education there. She loved studying, from class 10th to 12th, and even in graduation, she always scored good marks. She did her MA in economics, and even in that, she scored well. Later, she started working toward a PhD in economics. By 2009, her father, Jayaprakash Garg, had moved to Jagriti Vihar, Meerut, in the Nochandi area. There, her father opened a steel utensils shop, which started doing fairly well. In 2012, Anjali Garg got married to Nitin Gupta, an MBA graduate who worked at a private company in Delhi. According to some media reports, Nitin was also a chartered accountant and practiced in Delhi. In the beginning, everything seemed fine. But soon, Nitin left his job and started staying at home. Over time, Nitin and his mother began taunting Anjali. Sometimes they even hit her. Until 2015, Anjali kept enduring everything. But then something happened. Something that forced her to file for divorce. The details of both unknown numbers were retrieved. One of them belonged to a man named Anuj, who lived near the Lasadi Gate railway line in Meerut. The other number was traced to Rohit, a resident of Barapura. The police team immediately set out to arrest them. Within just 48 hours, the police successfully apprehended Yashpal, Neeraj, and Anuj. All 3 of them confessed to the murder of Anjali Garg. They had orchestrated the entire crime. Neeraj dealt in buying and selling cars that were auctioned. He had also bought the same scooty used in the incident. It was Neeraj who found the contract killer, Anuj. A deal was fixed for 1 lakh. In this case, Yashpal and Suresh contributed the Rs 1 lakh. Neeraj was responsible for arranging everything, from the weapon to the scooty. This planning had started in the early days of May, but due to some reason, the plan had to be delayed. They also conducted a rexy. Anuj took 500s in advance and included his associate Rohit in the plan. On June 6, before the incident, Neeraj invited both Anuj and Rohit to his house in Pratap Vihar. They stayed there, drank alcohol, and had food. At dawn, Neeraj woke them up and handed them the weapon. He had bought this weapon from a man named Goldie alias Sagar for 22,000. Along with it, he had purchased 4 cartridges. Goldie was a close aide of the notorious Badan Singh Bado. He wanted to establish his dominance in the colony. Armed with the weapon, Anuj and Rohit left on a scooty early in the morning. Around 6:30 a.m., they carried out the murder. Right after that, they returned to Neeraj's house. They had already received an initial payment of $50,000 and took the remaining $50,000 after the incident. The final 1 lakh was to be given later. But before that, the police arrested the 3 of them. The police surveillance team then began tracking the call details and location of the absconding accused. By the night of June 9th, Rohit was arrested from Bagpat Road while fleeing on a bike. By June 11th, Suresh's body was also in custody. And by June 14th, Goldie, the one who sold the weapon, was also caught. Yashpal and Suresh plotted this murder to forcefully vacate the house and to take revenge for the cases Anjali had filed. Even Neeraj was frustrated with the ongoing legal proceedings and had asked Anjali to settle the matter. But when she refused, he too became an enemy. Together they executed the crime. All of them were sent to jail. Neeraj, Yashpal, and Suresh were labeled as the main masterminds, with Suresh being the primary one. From the accused, police recovered 2 scooties, 2 phones, SIM cards, and a country-made pistol. Neeraj Sharma revealed that the real conspirators were Anjali's in-laws. Her father-in-law Pawan Gupta, mother-in-law Sarla Gupta, husband Nitin Gupta, and their associate Dushyant Sharma. On May 28, 2023, they called Neeraj to their shop and told him to get rid of Anjali. They said she had become a nuisance, grabbed all the property, and filed multiple cases against them. In return, they offered 5 lakh cash and 5 shops in TP Nagar. They told him, "This deal will secure your future and your family's life." But there was one condition. Their names must not come up in the case. That's why, even after his arrest, Neeraj never revealed their names. Instead, he took only Suresh and Yashpal's names. After May 28th, Pawan Gupta started harassing Neeraj with calls every day. He would call 8 to 10 times a day, urging him to eliminate Anjali. But Neeraj kept stalling, saying, "The time isn't right yet." Then, on June 2nd, Anjali's father-in-law and husband called Neeraj again. They said, "Anjali beats us daily. She assaulted us again today. You must get rid of her today itself. We'll give you 1 lakh extra." This time Neeraj agreed. He arranged for the pistol. The next day, June 3rd, Pawan placed the pistol in the Scooty's trunk and told Neeraj and his son, "He will finish the job today." Neeraj set out on that Scooty. Pawan sat behind him. They followed Anjali till Begumpur, but couldn't find the right opportunity. Anjali survived that day. Between June 4th and 7, Pawan Gupta kept sending Anjali's details and location to Neeraj. Even at 5 a.m. on June 7th, he sent a location. Neeraj told the police that before the incident, Anjali's in-laws gave him Rs 1 lakh as an advance. After committing the murder, he was jailed. When he got out on bail, he went to ask for the remaining money and the shops. But they kept avoiding him. Eventually, Neeraj realized they were not going to give him anything. Feeling betrayed, Neeraj went to the police. He also began to regret what he had done to Anjali. He claimed that it was the in-laws who harassed Anjali the most. He himself was an eyewitness to it. They wanted to drive her out of the house. That's why they did this. Neeraj handed over all call recordings, call timings, and details of meetings at the shop to the police. He also said that the shop's CCTV footage should be submitted. After giving this information, Neeraj disappeared. The police formed 3 special teams to reinvestigate the case. Neeraj told the police, "If you trace everyone's location, it will match, proving they were all together at the time of the murder." Neeraj hadn't handed over all the evidence yet, but said he would. The police waited for 2 days. When they called him, he replied, "I'll come on November 9th with all the evidence." But he never showed up. His phone was switched off. When the police went to his house, it was locked. Police now say, since Neeraj is also an accused in the case, we cannot fully trust his words. He might be misleading us. Until we get solid evidence, we cannot take further action. The charge sheet has already been filed in the case. Friends, the purpose of telling you this story is not to hurt anyone's sentiments or to trouble anyone, but to make you aware, to keep you alert. What are your thoughts on this entire incident? Please let us know in the comment box. If you liked our effort, don't forget to like and share this video. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, then subscribe now to channel